Get into last discussion. I've just some brief notices for you. Good Energy brings you Gold Super XP, the ideal choice for most vehicles. It's flowing at many Gold stations in the country. Just go fill up your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits. Gold Super XP is quality and gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Gold Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine, makes your engine perform to the max using minimal fuel, and is suitable for. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Professor Anane.
Good morning.
Thank you for your patience.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for your patience. Prof.
Thank you for having me.
Prof, ahead of this, the first day of this forum, if I was to ask you in a very general way, what would be your expectations? What are the priorities that this forum should be looking at?
Thank you very much once again for having me. Thank you to your listeners. Definitely, for any educational reforms, definitely would have probably identified some key areas that you want to look at as a way of improving the system. Reforms, as you asked initially, is very necessary because it's a way of examining and re-examining any important activity that you are undertaking. And you can say that education is one of the topmost priorities of any nation, so that can guide our development. Coming back to what you asked, for me, I think our top priority should be looking at the systems and the structures that we have for our education to really function. Because over the years, we have looked more about the curriculum and either making it 3 years, 4 years, whether the content is fit for purpose, whether we are training the people to have the skills that are required to help in our development as expected. But what we really haven't looked at is the infrastructural needs that will help these things that we are writing to function effectively. So for me, if there is any aspect of the reform that needs to be looked at critically, it should be the infrastructure resources that are supposed to be available in our schools so that we can do meaningful teaching and learning in our various institutions.
Right.
That said, we should also be able to at least listen to the general masses as well as the people we are consulting to come out with their expectations for the future. Because as you know, society drives what goes on in our education institutions, and societal needs need to be met. So it shouldn't be like we have already sort of formulated whatever we want to tell the people just to, as a formality, to say that, yes, this is what we intend doing. We are just coming to show it to you, and then you agree or we go and implement just to say that, oh, we consulted the people and we are doing it.
Right.
It should be an open thing. It should be genuine in terms of what the masses will want to expect or what the masses will want to see in our school system and in our curriculum.
Right. So for you, systems and structures would be priority one this time around. I'm going to ask you very practical questions because we don't have too much time, sir. But something like free SHS, where do we stand with free SHS? What do you think has to be done to the policy, or is it fine?
Yeah, free SHS, I think, as you agree with me, has helped a number of people to be able to go to school. Either they wouldn't have been able to. And definitely it's a good policy. So we need to make sure that as it stands, we work with it. But if there are teething problems in terms of maybe making available funding to the schools and also maybe decentralizing some of the things that we used to do, for example, maybe procurement of food, procurement of... The school is a holistic structure. It's a community on its own. Some of the training that we get from associating ourselves with other people from different backgrounds is a way of socializing. And some of the socialization processes, you cannot really get them from books. You can't teach them. People learn them by encountering or experience other people from within the environment, because people are coming from diverse backgrounds, and this diversity is needed for us to be able to learn from each other. So I think we shouldn't really think of the cost and whatever associated problems we have. We just need to make sure that we put our acts together, and then we find good ways of making sure that we solve these problems. Like you said, our budgetary allocation, the way we manage even the resources that are allocated to education systems, we need to have a look at these things and make sure we don't throw away good things because we think we cannot fund it. We cannot create all these schools here. We will not achieve as a nation and developing one as such.
Okay. All right.
Making sure that we have day schools. And you know our day schools, you know their states.
Right.
Check most of the day schools. You can see that it's not something that really, or the community schools, we are not resourcing them enough for people to even be attracted to go there and also have their learning.
Right. Okay. All right. So moving on. STEM has been talked about a lot. Everybody's talking about STEM: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and now they've added arts to make it STEAM. Now, it's talked about worldwide. Ghana is not exceptional in that respect. However,
of resources, resourcing the schools to be able to perform their functions effectively. That is the problem now. So we have some of them, they have the structures there, but if you get in there where our schools will not be having even the assays and bases, common assays and bases and other things, just to perform simple experiments and other things, that is worrying. So that is what we need to have a focus on. So for the STEM to be effective, we need to be focused. We need to pick those that are relevant to us and those that we can manage for now, and then we can. For the STEAM aspect, the art aspect, sometimes that one does not require maybe much resource in terms of, it's more about some of the social sciences, some of the arts related things. These ones, we can do them effectively and make sure that we achieve our goals.
Okay, thank you. I'm speaking to Professor Eric Anane. He's the Director of Education, UCC, Psychometric and Cognition. I'm going to find out what the full meaning is in a moment. But we're also being joined by Professor Stephen Doh Fia. He's at the Department of Guidance and Counseling at UCC. Welcome, Professor Doh Fia. Thank you for joining us. Hello? Professor?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, too.
Thank you. So before we continue with our conversation, I asked already Professor Anane, if he, and for you, now I'm asking you the same thing. What would be for you a priority outcome from the reform discussions that are being had and this forum that has been put together? What would be some of the priority outcomes that you'd want to see?
Come again, please.
Priority outcomes from, or expectations from, the education forum.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about I think I can talk more about issues pertaining to state school environment.
Right.
Because the environment in itself has some influence on students' learning in terms of infrastructure. What is needed to help learners to actually learn and also practice whatever they have learned. So, about the view that issues about a state school environment should be taken seriously. We need very conducive infrastructure, very conducive furniture. Classrooms, we need very good classrooms, very good furniture that are very comfortable. We need other facilities such as places where they can carry out certain workshops, laboratories, and so on. And the nature of furniture isn't that the use need to be considered seriously. We are of the view that when all these facilities are there, the library, parent books, e-library, and all these facilities, they will promote a lot of learners to develop holistically, so that lessons will not be in abstract. Whatever they are taught, they can easily go and also practice. But the fact is that most of these things are lacking in the school system. So the issue of resources is so key. And maybe adding to the resources, the teachers who are expected to deliver need to be motivated in a way to boost their morale to actually deliver. And
allowed to take back their schools.
It's a yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if they will be able to support the system as they used to do, that will be fine. If, for example, they will be able to provide the needed resources, they will be able to support teacher training, they will be able to help in curriculum development, fine. That will be good. But as you are aware, most of the mission schools are in their current structure.
Hello? Prof, I think we may have lost you for a minute. Okay. Hello? Professor? Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, we didn't catch the end of what you just said.
Yeah, what I was saying is that in terms of resources, it appears that the missions or the missions are no longer as resourceful as it used to be.
Right, okay.
And if we are not careful, we will just be probably, they are mostly now functioning at the managerial level rather than maybe resourcing some of the schools. If you look at most of the schools that are mission schools. So that is why I said yes and no.
We've lost him again, unfortunately. Sorry about that, listeners. Internet connection problems. But I think we got the gist of what he was trying to say. Professor Doh Fia, if you're still with us, the same question to you. Is it time for the missions to be allowed to take over the mission schools?
In a school system that will order well for these learners to become very responsible citizens for the future.
Okay. Now, let's move on to tertiary education. You're both, that's where you sit, both of you right now. Now, tertiary education, there's the high cost of tertiary education, there's a lack of access to student loans, etc., etc. What should be the priorities during this forum when we're talking about tertiary or third level education in Ghana? Starting again with you, Professor Anane.
Yeah, thank you. I would say that we need to focus on access, making sure that we expand access and have more people getting access to tertiary education because population is increasing. But it appears the universities and the tertiary institutions are of the same number, size, and sort of resources. So we need to make sure that we improve access because if you need the majority of our citizens to be sort of educated or graduates, then we need to make sure that access is in.
Yeah, Professor Anane, the question is always, the thing about tertiary education is always said that you should struggle a little bit to get into university or into a third level college. It shouldn't be straightforward. It should be a little bit of a struggle.
Why should it be? If that is an erroneous impression, because it should be that I have alternatives to be going to tertiary education or have other opportunities that will still help me develop. Not that it should be a struggle. Access to university systems should be, because that is the way where minds are reformed. For example, you train critical thinkers for the system, you train human resource at the tertiary level, and so on. So why should people struggle to have access to university education system?
So that they value it when they get it. Sorry, we've lost Professor Anane again. Really apologize.
Hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Yes. If you want people to value whatever they get, it's about its usefulness. So if they get tertiary education, how useful are they going to probably, is that going to be to them in terms of how they will use their knowledge, apply the skills and the things that they have learned? Is the usefulness of something or the value is not because you make it control.
Right.
So when you make it control, you are denying me education.
Should be accessible. We're really going to have to apologize again to listeners because our internet connection is dropping in and out. But I think you got the gist of what Professor Anane was trying to say there. Are you back, sir? Okay, let's go to Professor Doh Fia and his thoughts on the same question. Prof, if you heard the question.
Yes, sir. It's about tertiary education. Then we can also look at some individual organizations, non-governmental organizations, also having some mandate to sponsor tertiary education. And I believe with the support or little support from parents, and the underprivileged will be able to take tertiary education. And the nation, they will really get admission as a form of competition out there.
Okay.
And we'll make it including in every university. The ratio of the sponsorship, I believe, to some extent, I can go. If we can get from international funding, then maybe at least accommodation for tertiary education could also be free.
Okay.
So accommodations also need to be expanded in the universities, both private and governmental, so that we can get enough space for students who will be in admission and at times they have to struggle to get accommodation in order to pursue their programs of study.
Okay. Yes. Professors, both of you, you're turning out university graduates on a regular basis. And I'm not to say one school is better than another, but certain university students are coming out who still can't string a grammatical sentence together. There needs to be some thought, surely, towards the quality of tertiary education. What are your thoughts on that? I'll start with you, Professor Anane.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you're very right. As we have expanded more now, if we come to our tertiary institutions, like you said, we have the numbers increasing. And as I indicated earlier, in terms of lecturer-student ratio, it's out of the roof. So,
sorry, then we also have another program, of course, which is about entrepreneurship.
Right.
So that this course will equip you with developing or having that entrepreneurial mind, coupled with critical thinking, so that you don't just depend on the government sector for employment, but you can start something on your own. And I believe with this and many others, we can build that with that things are fit for society.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Professor Anane, are you with us? Sorry, maybe you've managed to get... Hello, can you hear us? Professor Anane? No, seems we've lost him. We'll try and get him back, but no, we've got him on the phone now. Professor Anane, sorry about all the problems with the internet. You were saying something before I went back to Professor Doh Fia. Could you continue from where you left off?
yes, what I was saying, I believe you can hear me now.
I can hear you perfectly, sir.
Yeah, was that the numbers that we are managing in most of our tertiary institutions is huge now. And if you take lecturer-student ratio, you will see that it's out of the roof. It's very, very high. So our approach to teaching in terms of how we deliver the curriculum arrangements seem to have experiences that are no longer there. For example, I teach sometimes
educational statistics. And you go to a lecture room with about 300 and over students. How can you teach statistics to 300 students at a go? How are they going to work out for you to see? How are they going to have access to software to be doing some of these analysis that you require them to do? And these are the challenges we have in our tertiary institutions. So until we make conscious effort to resolve them, we will not be able to give them the skills and the knowledge that they require to be able to function in the world of work or in our society. So the reform will have to look at that. We need to make sure that in as much as we are increasing access, we also make sure that it goes with making sure resources that are needed are available.
Right.
Because you cannot be coming out with good programs. Programs are as good as the way they are delivered and how learning takes place. So if you put curriculum together, you can call it whatever. If it is not delivered as intended, the outcomes that are expected, the behavior, the knowledge, the competencies required of the learner will not be, because you will not get as you expect, because they did not go through the required process of acquiring such experiences. So our tertiary institutions, they are not getting what we get. In fact, like I think I've said it on your radio before, that there is this what we call test score inflation. Now people are having high grades, but they have little to show when it comes to their performance. People have first class, but really, like you're saying, they can't perform as first class students because our assessment system, our training system is not really giving them what will make them function as they used to be. So as we increase, if you want to increase access, make sure that many people will have access to tertiary education. You should also make sure that lecturers, resources that are needed, so lecture theaters, and then also having accommodation, as well as making sure that we have resources that teaching and learning resources available for acquisition of critical skills and competencies will be very needed in this regard to resolve the problem we have now.
Okay. Before I let you gentlemen go, thank you very much for your time. One final question I'm going to ask then is, with all of what we've said now, I mean, even from the days when we were young, teachers have always looked mobile. They've always looked poor and not well looked at.
When it comes to issues of health, when it comes to issues about the walls of these teachers going to special education, what about the view that if the system puts soldiers through its one down of a teacher, right from the scratch to the tertiary, it will be motivating enough. If the PTA or PA or PTA as PTA is brought back, then teachers also and parents in particular also think about how they can motivate the teachers who are trying to build the future of their sons and daughters. So PTA can come up in certain packages for the teachers. So that belief motivation is something that we have to be taken care of, and with the salaries of the teachers will also be improved. Fine, I think it will help. During festive days like Christmas, Xtra, then we give some bonuses to teachers as well, and some organizations have been giving bonuses to their workers. So I think we should have a part of the teacher know that maybe in December I'll get some to take care of my family to make the family happy. So let's think about sponsoring teachers who are teaching people. They should sponsor at least one of their child or children to secondary level. It will not be enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Prof, your final comment on this matter of staff teacher welfare?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, that is very essential, as I said. However, a study I conducted showed that when it comes to teacher motivation, it's not only that of the external or extrinsic one, that is monetary matters. Teachers get frustrated if they don't have what they need to use to do their work. Every worker. So if you go to any workplace and the work environment is very conducive, sometimes salary becomes a secondary matter to people, because if they get what can just cater for their basic needs, they are okay to work. But if a teacher gets to the classroom and gets to the point that even chalk, common chalk that he has to use in writing, is not getting, he becomes frustrated. Again, the way we train our teachers, we need to have a relook at our teacher training. We need to probably give them some professional training such that they become resilient, because self-belief, efficacy, or whatever, believing in their competence.
You missed out. My name's Coach. I've been here with Xtra and also with the other one, Nania. We'll be back same time tomorrow morning. Coming up next, there's a young man smiling happily at me who's got to do the news at the top of the hour.
Welcome to News on the Hour on Asaase 99.5 with me, Nana Boache. The first zonal engagement of the National Education Forum is expected to kick off today, Tuesday, February 18, 2025, in the Volta